What's up, everyone? Today we are going on an absolutely insane adventure. We're flying across the world to explore one of the most incredible countries on the planet, Vietnam. This place is wild. Imagine a super long, skinny country, kind of like a dragon, squeezed right between the Southeast Asian Sea and its neighbors, Laos and Cambodia. The landscapes here are just mind-blowing. Seriously, you won't believe what you're about to see. I'm talking everything from epic, lush green rice terraces that look like they're straight out of a movie, to massive forested mountains, crazy deep valleys, and gigantic river deltas. And that's not even the half of it. We've got stunning beaches that stretch for miles, cities that are exploding with energy, and old-school colonial towns that make you feel like you've traveled back in time. We'll be exploring traditional villages where life has been the same for centuries, and even hopping over to some insane tropical islands. We've packed so much into this trip, it's going to be non-stop action from the second we land. We're going to find the coolest spots, try the craziest food, and meet some amazing people along the way. So, get ready, because this isn't your average travel video. We're going all out to show you the most epic, must-see destinations this country has to offer. We've got a massive checklist, and we're not stopping until we've seen it all. I've brought my entire team, and we're on a mission to uncover every single hidden gem. This is going to be the biggest adventure we've ever been on, and I'm taking you all with me. Here's a look at the best places to visit in Vietnam. Alright, first up, we are starting with something absolutely legendary, Ha Long Bay. I mean, just look at this place. It's like we've stepped into another world. There are thousands of these giant limestone pillars and tiny islands just jutting out of the water. It's insane. The locals say the name Ha Long actually means descending dragon, because they believed a giant dragon came down from the sky and created all these islands with its tail to protect Vietnam from invaders. How cool is that? We're literally sailing through a mythical dragon's lair right now. We chartered this massive boat for the day, and we're going to explore as much of this bay as we possibly can. You can't just look at this from a distance. You have to get right in the middle of it. The water is this incredible emerald green color, and it's so calm. We're going to be cruising between these massive rock formations, and our captain says he knows some secret spots where we can go swimming. The challenge is to see who can climb the highest on some of these rocks before jumping in. This is what adventure is all about. Later today, we're going to explore some of the hidden caves inside these islands. The captain told us there are entire underground worlds in there, with incredible rock formations that have been growing for millions of years. It's like a real-life treasure hunt. We're going to gear up with headlamps and see what we can find. Some of these caves are so big you could fit a whole building inside. I'm hoping we find some pirate treasure or maybe even a dragon's tooth. You never know what you'll find in a place this magical. And it's not just about the caves and swimming. We're also going to visit some of the small floating fishing villages that are hidden throughout the bay. People actually live out here, right on the water, in these floating houses. Their whole lives revolve around the bay. We're going to meet some of the locals, see how they live, and maybe even try to catch our own dinner. Imagine waking up to this view every single morning. It's absolutely unbelievable, a total paradise. This place is easily one of the most beautiful things I have ever seen in my entire life. Every corner you turn, the view just gets more and more spectacular. We're using our drone to get some epic shots from above, and it just looks like a painting. If you ever come to Vietnam, you absolutely have to put Ha Long Bay at the top of your list. It's a 10 out of 10, no question. We're only on our first stop, and my mind is already blown. This trip is going to be insane. Next up, we've landed in the heart of Vietnam, the capital city, Hanoi. And let me tell you, this place is electric. The energy here is on another level. It's this crazy, chaotic, beautiful mix of East meets West. You've got ancient temples right next to these super cool old French colonial buildings. The streets are just a wild river of motorbikes. There are millions of them. We literally had to close our eyes and just walk to get across the street. It's organized chaos, and I absolutely love it. The first thing you notice is the architecture. It's like Paris in Asia had a baby, and it's Hanoi. There are these grand yellow-painted buildings with big windows and balconies everywhere, left over from when the French were here. But then, you turn a corner, and you're in a narrow alleyway with food stalls selling the most amazing-smelling noodles and people sitting on tiny plastic stools. It's a city of contrasts, and every single street has a different story to tell. We're going to try and see it all. We just visited the Temple of Literature, which is basically Vietnam's first ever university, built almost 1,000 years ago. It's this super peaceful complex of courtyards, gardens, and beautiful old buildings where scholars used to study. It felt like we were walking through history. The detail in the carvings and the ancient turtle statues was just incredible. It's a total escape from the crazy city streets right outside the walls. We even left a small offering for good luck on the rest of our adventure. After that, we headed to something completely different, the Ho Chi Minh Museum and Mausoleum. This is a huge deal here. It's where the country's revolutionary leader, Ho Chi Minh, is laid to rest. The whole area is massive and super impressive. The museum itself is one of the weirdest, most interesting buildings I've ever seen. It's shaped like a giant lotus flower. Inside, it tells the story of his life and the fight for Vietnam's independence. It's a really powerful place that gives you a totally different perspective on the country. But honestly, the best part of Hanoi is just getting lost in the old quarter. We rented some motorbikes. And yes, I challenged our guide to a race and totally lost, and just drove around for hours. We explored tiny alleys, found hidden coffee shops, and ate some of the best street food I've ever had in my life. A bowl of pho here costs like $1, and it's 1,000,000 times better than anything you can get back home. Hanoi is a city that you have to experience with all your senses. It's loud, it's delicious, and it's unforgettable. Okay, we've left the chaos of the city behind and traveled down the coast to a place that feels like it's frozen in time. Hoi An! This town is seriously magical. It was a huge trading port hundreds of years ago, and it feels like not much has changed since then. The old town is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which means all these incredible old buildings are perfectly preserved. Walking through these streets, especially at night when all the lanterns are lit, is one of the coolest experiences ever. The entire old town is a pedestrian zone, so you can just wander for hours without worrying about traffic. The buildings are these beautiful traditional wooden houses, many of them painted in this iconic warm yellow. You can peek into the open doorways and see families living their lives, or discover ancient temples tucked away in small alleys. There's also this famous Japanese-covered bridge that was built in the 1500s. It's like every single corner of this town is a perfect photo opportunity. But Hoi An is famous for one thing above all else: tailors. There are literally hundreds of tailor shops here. You can walk into any of them, show them a picture of anything you want, a suit, a dress, a jacket, and they will make it for you, perfectly fitted in less than 24 hours. It's insane! So, you know we had to go crazy. I decided to buy 100 custom-made suits for my entire team and some lucky subscribers. We spent hours getting measured and picking out fabrics. It's the ultimate souvenir. The process is wild. We walked in, they took about 20 different measurements, we picked out the colors and materials, and they told us to come back tomorrow for a fitting. The quality is unbelievable, and it's so cheap compared to what you'd pay at home. While we wait for our suits, we're going to explore the countryside around Hoi An. We're renting bicycles and riding out through the rice paddies to a nearby beach. The scenery is just as beautiful as the town itself. At night, Hoi An completely transforms. Thousands of colorful silk lanterns are lit up all over the town and along the river. It looks like something out of a fairy tale. People buy these little paper lanterns with a candle inside and release them onto the river to make a wish. We bought a bunch and sent them floating downstream, wishing for more epic adventures. Hoi An is just pure magic. It's peaceful, it's beautiful, and now we're all going to be looking incredibly stylish for the rest of the trip. All right, team, we are time traveling again. This time, we're in Hue, the former imperial capital of Vietnam. This city was the home of the Nguyen dynasty emperors up until 1945, and you can feel the history everywhere. It's a much more serious, grand city than Hoi An. The main event here is the Citadel, which is this massive walled fortress that encloses the imperial city. And inside that is another, even more exclusive area, the Forbidden Purple City, which was reserved only for the emperor and his closest family. We're going to see if we can sneak in. Just kidding, you can buy a ticket now. But walking through the gates of the Citadel is still an incredible experience. The scale of this place is mind-blowing. There are huge stone walls, a massive moat, and these incredibly ornate gates. Inside, it's like a city within a city. There are grand palaces, ancient temples, and beautiful gardens. A lot of it was damaged during the Vietnam War, but they're doing an amazing job restoring it. And you can still see the incredible craftsmanship and imagine how epic this place must have been in its prime. We spent hours just wandering around the imperial city. There are so many different buildings to explore, from the throne room where the emperor held his court to the royal residences and theaters. The level of detail on the rooftops, the columns, and the murals is just insane. Every surface is decorated with dragons, phoenixes, and intricate patterns. It really gives you a sense of the power and wealth of the emperors who used to rule from here. It feels like we're extras in a historical epic movie. After exploring the citadel, we took a boat trip down the Perfume River, which flows right through the city. The river gets its name from the flowers that fall into the water from orchards upriver in the autumn. Along the banks of the river are the tombs of the ancient emperors. These aren't just simple graves, they are massive, elaborate complexes with temples, pavilions, and gardens, each designed by the emperor himself. We visited the tomb of Khai Dien, which was this crazy mix of Vietnamese and European architecture. It was wild. Our last stop in Hue was the Thien Mu Pagoda. This is probably the most famous symbol of the city. It's this 7-story tower that sits on a hill overlooking the Perfume River, and it's been here since the 1600s. There's a powerful story connected to this pagoda, as it was a center for anti-government protests in the 1960s. Hue isn't just a city of ancient history, it's a city with a powerful, resilient spirit. It's been an incredible lesson in Vietnamese culture and history. On to the next adventure. Get ready, because we have gone from the historic lowlands all the way up into the clouds. We are in Sapa, in the super remote mountainous region of northern Vietnam. The scenery here is completely different from anything we've seen so far. We're surrounded by these gigantic rolling mountains that are covered in these incredible terraced rice paddies. It looks like a giant green staircase leading up to the sky. This is one of the most breathtaking landscapes on Earth, and we're going to hike right through the middle of it. Sapa is not just about the views, it's also home to a ton of different ethnic minority groups, like the Hmong, Dao, and Tay people. They have their own unique languages, cultures, and incredible traditional clothing. We've organized a tour with a local guide from one of the tribes, and she's going to take us on a multi-day trek through the mountains. We're going to be staying in a homestay in her village, which means we get to live with a local family, eat with them, and see what their life is really like. This is going to be a challenge, but it's going to be amazing. The trek started, and it was immediately insane. We were hiking along these narrow dirt paths on the edge of the rice terraces, with 1,000-foot drops right next to us. The views were just non-stop incredible. We walked through bamboo forests, crossed little streams, and saw waterfalls cascading down the mountainsides. Our guide was telling us all about how they plant and harvest the rice, and how the landscape changes with the seasons. It's an incredible amount of work, all done by hand. After hiking for what felt like an eternity, we finally arrived at the village, and it was so worth it. It was a small collection of wooden houses nestled in a valley, surrounded by rice paddies and mountains. The family at our homestay welcomed us with huge smiles and some homemade rice wine. Let me tell you, that stuff is strong. We helped them prepare dinner, which was all cooked over an open fire with vegetables they grew in their own garden. It was one of the best meals of the trip. Waking up in the village was surreal. The only sounds were roosters crowing and the wind in the trees. There's no Wi-Fi, no cell service, just you and the mountains. It was a total reset. This experience in Sapa was so much more than just seeing a beautiful place. It was about connecting with the people who live here and learning about a completely different way of life. It was tough, it was humbling, and it was one of the most rewarding things we've ever done. Sapa is a true adventure for the soul. After trekking through the cold mountains, we needed some sun, so we flew all the way down to the coastal city of Nha Trang. This place is Vietnam's beach paradise. We're talking a massive crescent-shaped bay with crystal clear water, white sandy beaches, and a backdrop of green mountains. The city itself is full of resorts, seafood restaurants, and wild nightlife. It's time to relax, party, and have some fun in the sun. This is the vacation part of our adventure. The main beach in Nha Trang is a 6-kilometer stretch of beautiful sand right in front of the city. It's packed with people sunbathing, playing volleyball, and swimming. But we're not here for the main beach. We're going bigger. We chartered a private speedboat to take us out to the islands dotted around the bay. There are dozens of them, each with its own vibe. Some are quiet and secluded, perfect for snorkeling, while others are full-on party islands. We're going to island hop and see how many we can visit in one day. Our first stop was an island that is basically a giant amusement park and water park called Vin Wonders. You get there by taking the longest overwater cable car in the world, which is an adventure in itself. The park is insane. It has roller coasters, water slides, an aquarium, and even a zoo. We spent the whole morning acting like kids, going on every single ride and racing each other down the water slides. It was pure, chaotic fun. Who would have thought you'd find a massive theme park on a tropical island in Vietnam? After getting our adrenaline fix, we wanted to find something more relaxing. So, I did something crazy. I found an island that you can actually rent for the day. So, for the next 24 hours, this is our private island. It has a small beach, a little bungalow, and that's it. We have the entire place to ourselves. We're going to spend the afternoon snorkeling, kayaking, and just chilling in hammocks without another person in sight. We even brought a chef with us to cook a massive seafood barbecue on the beach for dinner. This is luxury. NHA Trong has been the perfect mix of energy and relaxation. From the wild rides at the amusement park to having our own private island, it's been an incredible coastal escape. The water here is some of the clearest we've seen, and the seafood is unbelievably fresh. Tomorrow, we're going to try scuba diving to see the coral reefs. NHA Trong proves that Vietnam really does have it all, from ancient cities and remote mountains to full-blown beach resorts. What a country! Okay guys, we are heading into the absolute lifeline of Vietnam, the Mekong Delta. This place is insane. It's a massive maze of rivers, swamps, and islands in the south of the country. The Mekong River starts all the way up in the Himalayas and ends here, dumping into the sea. The land is so fertile that they call this place Vietnam's rice basket. They grow so much rice here they could feed the whole country and then some. Life here is all about the water. The most iconic thing about the Mekong Delta is the floating markets. We woke up at 4 in the morning to get to Kai Rong, the biggest floating market in the region, and it was total beautiful chaos. There are hundreds of boats of all sizes, all packed with fruits, vegetables, and everything you can imagine. The big boats are like wholesalers, and they hang a sample of what they're selling from a tall pole so you can see it from far away. Then smaller boats zip around, buying from the big boats and selling to people like us. We hired a small boat, and our guide navigated us right into the heart of the madness. It's like a traffic jam on the water, but everyone is happy and shouting. We pulled up alongside a boat that was just a floating coffee shop and got some super strong Vietnamese iced coffee. Then we flagged down another boat that was a noodle stand and had a hot bowl of pho for breakfast, right there on our boat in the middle of the river. It was the most unique breakfast experience of my life. After the market, we spent the rest of the day just exploring the smaller canals and waterways. It's so peaceful once you get away from the main river. We cruised under palm trees, past small villages built on stilts over the water, and saw kids waving at us from the riverbanks. We visited a coconut candy factory where they showed us how they make the local sweets, and we even got to try holding a giant python at a snake farm. The Delta is full of these little surprises. We also visited a bird sanctuary. We took a rowboat through a flooded forest, and it was like something out of a nature documentary. There were thousands of birds, storks, egrets, herons, nesting in the trees all around us. The sound was deafening. The Mekong Delta is just teeming with life, from the bustling markets to these quiet, hidden natural wonders. It's a part of Vietnam that feels so traditional and so connected to the earth and the water. It's been an incredible, eye-opening experience. We've arrived in the biggest, most energetic city in all of Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City. A lot of people still call it by its old name, Saigon. And let me tell you, this place has a pulse like no other. It's a massive, modern metropolis that is growing at an insane speed. There are skyscrapers everywhere, fancy shopping malls, and rooftop bars that look out over the entire city. It feels like a completely different country compared to the peaceful villages we were just in. This is the economic engine of Vietnam, and the energy is contagious. The first thing we had to do was get a view from the top. So we went straight to the Bitexco Financial Tower and up to the Saigon Skydeck on the 49th floor. The view is absolutely mind-blowing. You can see the entire city stretching out for miles in every direction, with the Saigon River snaking through it. It gives you a real sense of the scale of this place. There are over 9 million people living here, and it feels like you can see all of them from up here. It's the perfect way to understand the layout of this sprawling city. But Ho Chi Minh City isn't just about modern skyscrapers. It has an incredibly deep and complicated history. We visited the Reunification Palace, which was the home of the president of South Vietnam during the Vietnam War. It's the exact spot where the war officially ended in 1975, when North Vietnamese tanks crashed through the gates. They've preserved the whole building exactly as it was back then, with the command bunkers in the basement and the 1960s furniture. It's like walking into a time capsule, a really powerful and surreal experience. We also went to the War Remnants Museum. I have to warn you, this place is intense. It's a very graphic and moving museum that tells the story of the Vietnam War from the Vietnamese perspective. There are tanks, planes, and helicopters outside, but inside, the photography exhibits are heartbreaking. It's not an easy visit, but it's an incredibly important one if you want to understand the history that has shaped modern Vietnam. It gives you so much respect for the resilience of the people here. At night, Ho Chi Minh City comes alive in a totally different way. We explored the backpacker area around Bui Vien Street, which is just a crazy party zone with lights, loud music, and bars spilling out onto the street. Then we went to a fancy rooftop bar for a cocktail with an incredible view of the city lights. This city has everything. It's a place of history, commerce, and non-stop energy. Saigon is a city that never sleeps, and we tried our best to keep up with it. Get ready to have your minds completely blown because we are going underground. We're at Phong Nha, Ki Bang National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site that is home to some of the most spectacular caves on the entire planet. This whole area is made of these giant karst mountains, and inside them is a network of over 300 caves and grottos. We're talking about caves so massive that they have their own jungles and weather systems inside. This is adventure on a whole new level. This place is home to the world's largest cave, Sun Dung Cave. It's so big you could fit a 40-story skyscraper inside its main cavern. Getting to it requires a multi-day expedition that costs thousands of dollars and is booked years in advance. We couldn't get on that trip, but we are going to explore some of the other, more accessible but still gigantic caves in the park. We're starting with Paradise Cave, which is 31 kilometers long. We're not walking the whole thing, but the first kilometer is open to the public and it's just unreal. Walking into Paradise Cave is like entering a cathedral made by nature. They've built this beautiful wooden walkway that takes you through the first section, and it's lit up to show off the incredible stalactites and stalagmites. The scale is just impossible to understand. You feel so tiny. The formations look like alien landscapes, with towers, curtains, and terraces of rock that have been formed by water over millions of years. It's absolutely silent except for the dripping of water. It's one of the most awe-inspiring places I've ever been. Next, we went for a completely different experience at the Dark Cave. This one is all about getting dirty and having fun. We started by ziplining over the river to the cave entrance. Then, with just a headlamp to guide us, we waded through the underground river into the pitch-black cave. The main event is a natural mud bath deep inside the cave. The mud is so buoyant you just float effortlessly. We had a massive mud fight, and by the end, we were completely covered head to toe. It was hilarious and so much fun. This whole area is just an adventurer's playground. You can kayak on the river, hike through the jungle, and of course explore endless caves. It's no wonder this landscape was used as a filming location for the movie. It literally looks like a land of monsters and giants. Phong Nha, Ki Bang is a must-visit for anyone who loves nature and adventure. Discovering these hidden underground worlds has been one of the absolute highlights of our trip. After all that intense caving, it's time to hit the beach again. But this time, we're going to Vietnam's ultimate island getaway, Phu Quoc. This massive island is located off the coast of Cambodia, but it's all Vietnam. It's famous for its perfect white sand beaches, calm turquoise waters, and dense tropical jungles. More than half of the island is a national park, so it's still super pristine and undeveloped in many areas. We're here to find the best beach, relax, and maybe get into a little bit of trouble. We landed and went straight to Long Beach, which is the most famous beach on the island. It's a 20-kilometer stretch of soft, yellow sand lined with resorts, beach bars, and restaurants. It's the perfect place to watch the sunset. We grabbed some chairs, ordered some fresh coconuts, and just watched the sun dip below the horizon. The sunsets here are legendary, painting the whole sky in these insane shades of orange and purple. It was the perfect way to start our island adventure. But we didn't come here just to sit around. The next day, we rented motorbikes to explore the whole island. We drove up the coast and found Sao Beach, which is supposed to be one of the most beautiful beaches in all of Vietnam. And it did not disappoint. The sand was like fine white powder, and the water was a shade of turquoise I've never seen before. It looked like a postcard. We found these cool swings set up right in the water and spent hours just swimming and taking epic photos. The island also has a pretty interesting and somber history. We visited the Phu Quoc prison, which was used by the French and then the Americans to hold Vietnamese prisoners. It's now a museum, and it shows the brutal conditions that the prisoners endured. It was a really sobering and important reminder of the country's difficult past, even in a place that feels like a paradise. It adds another layer of depth to this beautiful island. For our last day, we wanted to experience the local life, so we headed to a traditional fishing village. The fishermen here still use these beautiful wooden boats, and the village was bustling with activity. We met a local fisherman and challenged him to a contest to see who could catch the most fish in an hour. He completely destroyed us, of course. He was a legend. We then took our pathetic catch to a local restaurant where they cooked it up for us. Freshly caught fish on a beautiful island. It doesn't get any better than this. Okay, we're back up north for one of our final adventures, and this place might be one of the most beautiful yet. We're in Tam Kok, which is often called Ha Long Bay on land. And you can see why. Instead of the ocean, you have these incredible limestone karsts and mountains rising right out of emerald green rice paddies. It's a landscape that is so dramatic and so beautiful, it honestly doesn't look real. It feels like we've walked into a fantasy movie. The best way to experience Tam Kok is by boat. We hired a local woman to row us down the Ngodong River. And here's the crazy part. They row the boats with their feet. They sit at the back and use their feet to push and pull the oars. It's an incredible skill, and it allows them to glide through the water so smoothly and quietly. It's such a peaceful and relaxing experience, just floating down the river, surrounded by this insane scenery. The boat ride takes you on a journey through the heart of this landscape. The river winds its way through the rice paddies, with the giant limestone cliffs towering over you on both sides. The rice paddies change color depending on the season, from bright green to golden yellow, so it looks different every time you visit. It was so quiet, all we could hear was the sound of the oars in the water and the birds in the sky. It was a moment of pure peace in the middle of our crazy adventure. The most exciting part of the boat trip is when you go through the mountain tunnels. The river actually flows right through the base of 3 of the limestone mountains. Our rower expertly guided our little boat into these low, dark caves. We had to duck our heads as we floated through the pitch-black tunnels. It was a little scary, but so cool. When you emerge out the other side back into the bright sunshine and stunning landscape, it feels like you've been reborn into another world. Tam Kok is just pure natural beauty. There are no big resorts or crazy parties here. It's all about appreciating the stunning landscape and the peaceful way of life. After our boat trip, we climbed the 500 steps up to the top of Hang Mua viewpoint. The climb was brutal in the heat, but the view from the top was one of the best of the entire trip. You can see the whole Tam Kok Valley, with the river snaking through the rice paddies and the mountains stretching out to the horizon. It was the perfect, breathtaking end to our time here. For our final stop, we've escaped the heat and humidity one last time and headed up into the Central Highlands to a city called Dalat. This place is completely different from anywhere else in Vietnam. The weather is cool and crisp, and it's surrounded by misty valleys, pine forests, and flower farms. It's known as the City of Eternal Spring because the weather is so pleasant all year round. It feels like we've been transported from Southeast Asia to the European Alps. The reason for this unique atmosphere is that Dalat was developed by the French in the early 1900s as a summer retreat to escape the heat of the lowlands. They built villas and chalets in the European style, and that architecture still defines the city today. You can see these beautiful French colonial buildings all over the place. It's a city of pine trees, flowers, and romance. It's the perfect, peaceful place to end our epic Vietnamese adventure. Dalat is famous for its flowers. The cool climate is perfect for growing them, and there are flower farms and gardens everywhere. We visited the Dalat Flower Gardens, which was this explosion of color with thousands of different types of flowers, from roses and orchids to hydrangeas. The whole city smells amazing. There's even a massive flower festival here every 2 years that attracts people from all over the world. It's just a really beautiful and romantic city. But Dalat has a weird and wonderful side too. We visited the Crazy House, which is one of the most bizarre buildings I have ever seen. It's a guest house designed by a Vietnamese architect that looks like a giant banyan tree. There are no straight lines, and you walk through these winding, organic-looking tunnels and bridges to get to the different rooms. It's like something out of a Dr. Seuss book or a Salvador Dali painting. It was so much fun to explore. For our final activity in Vietnam, we went canyoning. We rappelled down waterfalls, slid down natural water slides, and jumped off cliffs into the river below. It was an adrenaline-pumping way to experience the beautiful nature around Dalat. From the cool mountain air and French architecture to the crazy art and wild adventures, Dalat was the perfect surprising end to our journey. It showed us yet another one of the many, many faces of Vietnam. What an incredible country. And that's a wrap on our insane adventure across Vietnam. We traveled the entire length of this incredible country, from the mythical waters of Ha Long Bay and the chaotic streets of Hanoi to the world's biggest caves and our own private island. We ate the most amazing food, met the most wonderful people, and saw landscapes that honestly changed the way I see the world. Vietnam is a country of unbelievable beauty, profound history, and incredible resilience. It completely blew away all of our expectations. This trip was about more than just ticking off a list of places. It was about pushing our limits, getting out of our comfort zones, and connecting with a culture that is so rich and so deep. We trekked through mountains with local tribes, got lost in ancient cities, and floated through markets on the Mekong Delta. Every single day was a new adventure, a new challenge, and a new lesson. I am leaving a piece of my heart here in Vietnam, and I already can't wait to come back. Thank you all so much for coming along on this journey with us. It means the world to me that I get to share these incredible experiences with you. If you've ever thought about visiting Vietnam, my advice is just do it. You will not be disappointed. And to help one of you do just that, I'm giving away $10,000 to one lucky subscriber for their own trip to Vietnam. All you have to do is subscribe, like this video, and comment below with the place from this video you'd want to visit most. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.